jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son, actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come back sports, talking way too much, world come back sports, talking way too much, world come back sports.
Your big shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. You already know what it is. We're here with a late one. It's not going to be a long one, but I wanted to do my live reaction on the interview that took place today with True Media and Schofield Sr. There's been a lot of interaction going on with Schofield Sr. And different platforms. I seen the interview when he was on Mill City. I like Mill City platform per se, but that doesn't mean it's not going to have some heat. I do appreciate how he doesn't get too involved with the verbal sparring, especially what just happened with, Schofield Sr. and Greg Hackett. But the one I wanted to do a live on was a interview that just happened with True Media and Schofield Sr. Is not too much that I kind of seen it coming or whatever. It's just when some people have interviews and that interview get numbers, then sometimes people want to dive into it if they have previous relation or contact with them or communication with them. They wanna intervene. You know what I'm saying? They want a part of it while it's still hot. This seems like one of those times where, the subject was on Scofield's son, and you're talking about a father-son tandem in the sport of boxing. We do have some fathers and sons that's on their way up through the ranks that's actually involved with their son as a fighter. Schofield happened to be one of them. And he's made his rounds on the YTC before. This is nothing new for him. He's about to smoke. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's about to smoke. He can care less about anything else. He don't come off to me as a punk. You know what I'm saying? Just out here running his mouth for anything. I don't know him like that or whatever. I think his son Floyd the third is very well mannered, respectful young man. I always try to, if I have criticism of anything, you have to think about it. People say, oh man, that's somebody's son. Yeah, all these fighters are somebody's son. You know what I'm saying? But it really don't take a hold of you unless you know him personally or something. And then you say, okay, I got a little bit more respect for this fighter right here because we had personal interaction. And it should be like that. It should. You know what I'm saying? Why am I gonna, have personal interaction with you or communication or connect on a different level? And then, I'm on the YTC and I'm very critical just to keep it real. It's gonna be some biasness there. I'm just gonna be honest with you. There's gonna be some biasness there. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. It's gonna be some biasness now because no one said biasness was illegal. But when it comes to the YTC, people selectively, want to talk about what's biased and what's not. And then if they are biased, they try to give you a good reason for why they are. But Schofield, man, he's been making his rounds and he's been bringing flamethrowers. And I just happened to listen in on this interview between him and True Media. And, listen to the interview from start to that point where they start interacting. Was pretty cordial. I would say, um, I wouldn't say anything about formal, and nothing on the YTC is formal in my opinion. But I can say it was pretty much boxing centric. The topic was boxing centric. It wasn't anything overly, talking about just personal stuff. It was boxing centric. Of course, people want to know about the interview that happened on Mill City because that's what kind of went viral with the interaction, and you learn a lot from situations that happen. I didn't know Schofield. He's not a run of the mill type of dude because I never would have knew Greg Hackett knew his son from back in the day, and there was a slight connection there by the way he was talking previously on the interview. Like um he didn't seem agitated. He didn't seem like he was on the edge, overly flustered. He was communicating. Then he let it out and said, "Hey, this dude's been hating on my son since he was a kid." I was like, "Damn, I would have came off a little bit earlier." But you learn a lot. You know what I'm saying? You learn a lot from this. So he's like, "You've been hating on my kid ever since he beat one of your guys." And I was like, "Wow." He didn't give no indication that that's why he was giving the high energy. All of a sudden, he turned the volume up. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people you have to be able to communicate with somebody you don't like. It's gonna come a time if you can't communicate with somebody you don't like, especially on this social media. I don't know what to tell you, man. You haven't been many places. I don't know, but the fact that he was able to communicate with somebody he truly, in my opinion, genuinely don't like, and then near the end of it, he starts to say, "Yeah, you've been hating on my son ever since he was younger." I was like, "Wow, I never would have knew that." Well, coming full circle, when I see him, um, when I seen him join the panel of True Media, I said to myself, "Damn, he don't have that many panels." Okay, I guess he's caveating off the interview that happened over there in Mill City. So the interview went as it may. Once again, just talking about boxing, talking about certain situations, and I would say, for somebody to have a guest on the panel, there should be some type of protocol, a custom and courtesies, standard operating procedures. Uh, I can't say listening to Schofield Senior talk, very garrulous in the way he handled himself. That's who he is. I know that now. That's who he is. I mean, you have to really, chop it down, give us attention, and say, "No, it's my time to talk right now." But come to find out, True Media had been over the man's house. He had prior communication, connected on a more personal level. When you break bread with people, it's different. Real talk. The expectations is there. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? When you break bread over people's house, the expectation is different. I'm serious, man. You break bread, period. But somebody let you in their crib, then I can see where, they will feel a certain way, bro. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. In this boxing game, if they let you in their crib and stuff, that's a personal level. That's something that's extremely personal. And then I don't see Schofield as a type of dude to just have his door wide open for anybody off the street to come in there. So when I seen him jump on the panel, I was like, okay, this should be interesting because I already knew what the energy was attached with. It was attached to the Mill City interview. So I said, okay, I get to listen in. Maybe there's some different questions that's gonna be asked to Schofield Senior. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought. And it was. It ended up being that way. But it ended up taking a turn with higher energy during the interview. And I'm gonna play the audio, of course. I don't want to have my I'm gonna put my sign up here because, you know, I do reaction videos, but I'm not trying to get flagged again for no name reason. and you don't know the mindset of certain people doing the reaction to their video, but it's just for educational purposes only, man. I'm not here to talk to anybody in the chat about no drama or none of that. I'm just here to do a reaction to the freaking video, and that is it. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat, and we about to get this popping. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm gonna run down some stats to you and what I think. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna run down the stats. I can do stats on a video. I don't know freaking Schofield like that. That doesn't mean I'm gonna be biased towards him. You know what I'm saying? I know who True Media is. That don't mean I can't do a live video without being biased. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell it the way I see it. Real talk. I'm gonna call it the way I see it. Let's get it popping. And I didn't start at the beginning because it wasn't relevant to me. I wanted to get to where the gumbo starts to boil. You know what I'm saying? When you start putting them spices in there.
Harder like that, keep it boxing. But I say like you go fighter, but I'm just competitive. We're in the same weight class. Why would I not want to fight you? You the talk. Everybody talking about you. So.
All right.
See, one thing I'll say about Schofield Jr., and I'm gonna call him Floyd. I'm gonna call his dad Pops. Okay, one thing I can say about Floyd, the fighter he was talking about that's been put together like clay. They're trying to mold this fight together. And this is the 135-pound division. Okay, before I get started, I want to just give you the records. Floyd Schofield is sitting at 17-0 with 12 knockouts. And Abdullah Mason is the fight that's been, making his rounds out here in this media carousel. Abdullah Mason is 15 victories in, 0 defeats, hosting 13 knockouts. Let me give you the ranking. Abdullah Mason is ranked globally 19th out of 2,338. In the U.S., Abdullah Mason is ranked 7th out of 277. Floyd Schofield is ranked 22 out of 2,338. And then that's globally. And then in the U.S., 9th out of 277. So you see Mason, being ranked globally number 19th, and Floyd Schofield number 22. And then in the U.S., Mason number 7, Schofield number 9. But as you will look on the ranking system, of course, Floyd Schofield is ranked. You know what I'm saying? He's a ranked fighter. So when you look at the ranking systems in the WBA, Floyd Schofield is ranked number 2. In the WBA and in the IBF, he's ranked number 14th. Abdullah Mason isn't ranked yet. Okay? So I'm gonna leave it at that. I just wanted to give you the 3 lines, the 3 fine lines of info first of the fighter, their record, and their rankings. Let's get to this vid.
Pop, you and Greg, what's that situation like, man? Y'all squash that, or is it real beef?
So this was a caveat. Malachi just asked, what's the situation between you and Greg? Did y'all squash the beef? Me? I'm not going to ask about a situation such as that one that goes back to the amateurs, because there's no way that's ever going to be squashed to me. I understand where he came from with the question. For the viewers, I think it was a good ask. For the viewers, it was a good ask. But myself, I'm like, that ain't gonna never be squashed. If he said, allegedly Greg Hackett had been hating on his son since 17, that's a situation I'm not privy to. I don't know anything about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about the amateur. I mean, like, that's a snapshot that you get in this boxing game, because some of these cats know each other forever. Let me keep it moving, though.
It never, listen,
I don't know why you be reporting media like that. You know better than that. You know if that was beef with me, you know he would. We don't even need to go there. So you already know that ain't beef. You already know the people I run with. You know the how far our arms extend, even with my OG.
Hey, hey. He said, you know the people I run with. You know how far my arms will reach. Look, this ain't the first time I heard him talk that talk, man. And look, I don't think he's capping at all. I don't care, man. You know, Schofield Pops, dude is not capping when he's talking and talking and dropping these names and who he's affiliated, associated with. His energy is different. But that's not the reason why I'm doing the reaction. I'm just saying it ain't no beef with us. Because he's pretty much saying if it was beef, then it would be on a whole nother tempo. We wouldn't be online like this if it was really beef. But I get where he's coming from though, man. This is not the first time I heard him say, hey man, this is not beef for me. Do you know who I wrote? Dude, my reach is long.
So you know,
Yeah, I know.
because if it was beef, it would have been eliminated. I think he's marketing himself because Top Man ain't gonna promote no black fighter. So Keyshawn gotta go through those theatrics. But I think it just become a point where you gotta just chill, like you cross a line. Sometimes people let media get them to go beyond who they really are.
Hey man, Pops made a good point just then. Sometimes media, they kind of instigate, you know what I'm saying, inject more energy into some of these and get them to cross the line. He's absolutely right on that shit. Media can influence people to cross lines. And you know, I don't heard people say different things about, but I've been around some quiet, dangerous individuals. I understand it. You know, Pops is loud to me, but he's loud in a way in defending his son. He's not the first father that I ran into that's very vocal.
And so that's the Keyshawn one. That other Greg isn't even on my radar. I don't have no problem with that dude. That dude is he's a clown. He's a clown.
He's a clown for sure.
But you're not giving people things, man.
Question, I don't think.
No, somebody said Floyd versus Emilio. Emilio not ranked.
Who Emilio?
Emilio Vargas, he's not ranked in the WBA anywhere.
See how people up here bringing up Emilio Vargas when who was just going at him? Keyshawn was just going at him. Him and Emilio Vargas is somewhat on the same freaking level. And this is what's so intriguing about this lie, because, you know, Pops kept trying to explain his definition of the prospect, right? The prospect and the contender. I totally understood and digested everything he was talking about when he was trying to explain the prospect and the contender. But you get people in the chat, and this is when I feel like Pop shouldn't be reading the chat, because these people just throwing names out here because he has a name. Now, in some instances, yes, names do get you a fight. But right now, Emilio Vargas is just building. Real talk. That's all that's going on right there.
Yeah, so if you picked anybody from the top 5, it would make sense.
And he had 40 anyway.
Who, Emilio?
Emiliano Vargas, he had 40.
Hold on. Let's look at some questions in the chat.
I'm a fast forward. I really don't want to hear no questions from the chat right now.
Anybody could die in that ring. This is not tennis. Somebody can throw punches at your fucking head. Every fight is a 50-50 fight. Every fight is a life and death fight. So I don't understand that terminology.
So Malachi asked him, when is he gonna fight a 50-50 fight? And basically what's being said, what I'm assuming, is that per his resume, there hasn't been anyone equal to Floyd's skill set or greater. And when I'm telling you this is legitimate thinking, my thought process on how I look at when people say a 50-50 fight. Now, if you have an undefeated fighter, let's say, for instance, Floyd Scofield, and you have Abdullah Mason, they're undefeated, right? Nobody, as of yet, between these two, have faced a fighter that's supposed to be better than them. They're facing fighters that should be close to their level. You know what I'm saying? Close to their level or equal, right? Even when you say equal, that's in the eyes of the beholder if that fighter's a 50-50 fighter. We don't know because these fighters are young in the game and they're undefeated, but yet they're asked about a 50-50 fight. I mean, a 50-50 fight was supposed to be Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, right? So it's a very complex question to line someone up with when you just don't know. You have to go and shred the resume. You have to look at who they fought and then who their resume has fought. And you have to see how many times, they have fought, what's the experience, how often, frequently they fight in a year. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they amateur. I mean, everything that goes into examination on a professional level.
But I will say, if you talking about someone like in the top 10 or something, y'all acting. I mean, like I said, I got a team. They say I'm young. They got to move me right. I want the big fights. Like I got in this sport. I didn't get in this sport to make money. I got in this sport because I had to be good at something in life. All my dad knew was fighting. He couldn't teach me how to play football. He wasn't real big on school. So I got in this sport to be good at something and become a legend. So I'm waiting to get those big fights. If I could fight, the top guys next week, I'll be in that ring. Because at the end of the day, it's just about proving to myself, that one day, all this work paid off. I didn't do it.
Well, you got to be in the money for the business, definitely for the money. And I'm pretty sure your pops want to make that money too. But he said all his pops knew was fighting. And from my understanding, he did some time. I'm telling you, man, when I hear a dude as boisterous, not boisterous, as vocal and high volume, some every now and then you find dudes like his pops that are loud and they the truth. You know what I'm saying? You can know the ones who just rambling on for no reason and the ones that's just loud because they've been loud for a long time. See, his son ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? His dad has the headlights. The vocal headlights. He'll talk his way through the path. His son will speak up for himself, as you can see. You know what I'm saying? Seems like he's very well mannered and all that. But this is a boxing game right now. He's being compared in this particular live stream to a fighter named Abdullah Mason that pretty much earned his 15th victory this weekend and is a standout right now, just like Floyd Schofield. You know what I'm saying? Both of these are some young bulls in the 135-pound division. So it's gonna corral everybody to start trying to put names together because ain't shit going on. You know what I'm saying? So they gotta climb the ladder in the ranking systems and get that shot. And that's what we have right now. We have the fans that's trying to be matchmakers, unqualified matchmakers, and they're looking at what they're seeing with how both fighters are shining. They say, oh, why don't so-and-so? Why don't Abdullah Mason fight Floyd Schofield? Why don't Floyd Schofield fight Abdullah Mason? I like the fight. I'm going to be honest.
Do it for nothing.
All right, so how would you grade the level of competition that you fought thus far?
Oh, I feel like
you don't grade the level of competition you fight thus far.
Yeah,
that's what people. Let me answer that real quick. That's for people that's just sitting on couches. How do you grade a man feeding his family? These men go into the gym, bust their ass, and go in there to do their best to provide for their family. So what you want us to say? They bums? Like on that?
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm not. I can't lie with what he's saying, bro, because I've been there in this conversation. How do you grade the level of competition when boxing has a format? We understand that the sport is attached to a system, and the template to that system is build your fighter up to a certain point. Okay, everybody's intro into professional ranks is different, as I'm gonna go through with these individuals. You know what I'm saying? When it gets hot, when the spear tips start to glow a little bit, I'm going to provide you with some information with both resumes of Floyd Schofield and Abdullah Mason so you can assess your own. You know what I'm saying? But it's no need to grade at this level if they're still building to fight the big name fight. Once they get the big name fight, that's when the grading process happens. That's when the test, that's when you're there to take the test. Because now you're at a level where you finally climb that ladder. Everyone that you stepped over to get to that level of the big fight, they wasn't meant to be graded. If it's a grading process and you struggle, that is the only moment when they grade you during adversity. But if you a special standout, you got potential, talent, then ain't nobody grading your performances unless you knocking out everybody. And when it comes to knockouts, him and Abdullah Mason, they only separated by one knockout. Professional wins, they only separated by 2 professional wins. Floyd has 17, Abdullah has 15.
I know that's what y'all want us to say. They got in that ring. That's what was before us, and we did our job. And
But you said that
number 2. No, go to number 2 where we ranked. We don't have to go there where we ranked.
yeah, I know, I get that. But you said that.
Listen, to be ranked, that means the fighter you fought had to fight somebody. Okay, let me tell you that politics, because then we don't have to answer the bullshit that wastes time. To be number 2, that means the people you fought somebody. Or you want to win up, or you want to win up the rankings beating them. You couldn't have fought nobodies and moved up. So all of that that's a waste of conversation. They could do their own research. They could look at who we fought.
He said you couldn't have fought nobodies that moved up. I partially disagree with you there, Pops. I do. I partially disagree because boxing is about politics, and there's a lot of politics that goes on in the ranking systems. Come on. Perfect example. I've did live streams on the ranking system, and you know, I don't too much, you know, play around in that pool. But every now and then I dived off the board. You know what I'm saying? I did a live on Jerron Ennis and how he came into the top 15 and how he moved up. And bro, yeah. I partially disagree with you on that because you can fight some nobodies and get ranked. Jerron Ennis was one of those guys. Period. Whether they want to like it or not, he was one of those guys. So I partially disagree with you on that.
Take a look at who they fought. Why do we have to do the homework? That's ignorance. Even journalists need to do their research, or they wouldn't ask that question.
No. Hey, Pop, no, Pop, no. We can't. We not gonna do this. I'm saying where I'm going at. You said no. I'm not. But you
got offended.
No, I didn't get offended.
All right. So, like I said, journalists need to do their diligence.
I did my due diligence, and I prove that what you just said is partially incorrect. Because yes, fighters fight nobodies and still move up the rankings. It's all about who they're signed to. Yes, some people don't want to talk about it early, you know, because people say, okay, who have you followed? We're going to get into that. We're definitely going to get into that. Why that question may have been washed over a little bit, because it is a typical standard question to say, let's take a look at their resume. Let's see who you fought. Wins, losses. Let's see.
What do you mean? No, that's the truth. Before they could talk about a man like that's providing for their family, at least go do the work as a man to see who he fought and who they fought.
No, bro. Look, a fighter get paid what they get paid at that level. What does that have to do with 50-50 fights and the quality of opposition feeding your family? If you feeding your family, the quality of oppositions is going to be pretty much what you're getting paid at that level. I mean, the quality of opposition is not going to be top notch. You know what I'm saying? High tier. You're not doing that coming in here. You know, I can provide you the names of some of the best fighters that's popping out here. And you look at the first, 5 to 10. You know what I'm saying? And you're saying to yourself, okay, that's what they're supposed to have done. But you got some, that don't have no losing records on their resume. Jihad don't have a losing record. I mean, let me see. I think if you look at Ali's record, I'm not sure, but I could have sworn he don't have a losing record on there. But, Some fighters do. But if they're feeding your family shouldn't be comparable if you're using an analogy as to them rising up the ranking system. If you're feeding your family, those fighters are not going to be the QOP quality of opposition to rise through the ranks. If you feeding your family at that ladder of your career, and you building rungs after rung after run and trying to get to the top, the quality opposition is not going to be tough for you because you're trying to build them numbers up to look presentable, to dress it up real nice.
Here we can have an intellectual conversation.
Yeah, but hold on.
You won't even know the name of somebody he fought. That fought Devin, that fought Tank, but then y'all wouldn't even know the name if I called it.
He's spitting facts in that, because I looked at those records. You know I have. I spoke on it. For real. And I don't think this question at 15 fights, 17 fights, you would ask, when this, when that, because we know I've had the conversation. I've spoken about Devin's resume. You know what I'm saying? Bill felt some type of way about it when nobody else would, speak on it. They was just building them up. And I was like, his resume, all them Mexican fights in Mexico. I mean, no. I mean, he's right about that. It's a template, but I'm kind of getting confused when you're saying he fought somebody. Those opposition that Floyd fought to get to that ranking, his opponents fought somebody. So he fought the opponents, and they fought somebody, which actually contribute to him elevating to the high rank. His highest ranking is in the WBA at the moment. So his opponents fought somebody to help him levitate to that point. But yet and still you're saying he's fighting and freaking making earning money for his family. That opposition is not going to be top tier.
So it's like, what is the purpose as an ignorant conversation?
Okay, hear me out. Okay, so if I take your logic, what you just said, right?
Yeah.
Why did you say Abdullah Mason fought cab drivers?
You're on the phone.
Hold on. I'm on the interview now. This might do it on the interview, but anyway, I'll call you back. Now, what you asked?
Okay, so based on your logic, how would you say that Abdullah Mason fought cab drivers?
What part of Abdullah Mason is green? He's going through his beginning process. He's not a contender like Floyd.
I get that.
Hold up, because then.
See, this is where it gets fuzzy for me. Because, okay, if he said that Abdullah Mason fought cab drivers, Abdullah Mason only has 2 less professional wins. All right? This is where I absolutely disagree with you pops trying to level change and separate yourself from Abdullah Mason, all because Floyd is ranked in the WBA. We know the sanctioned body is political. Please. We can't play those games. We know the sanctioned body is political, bro. You cannot have an interaction like this. I understand you've been in the game, man. I'm talking about these fathers have sacrificed countless hours with their son, and they know what the politics are. If they choose to speak on it, it's up to them. But Abdullah Mason, his first fight was a 1-0 fighter. Is that something weird and strange, fighting a 1-0 fighter? No, it's not. You know what his fourth opponent's record was? 5-0. 5-0, yo. Okay? You want to go to Floyd Scofield? His first opponent's record was his debut. Okay? All right? You want to go up to his fourth opponent? 7-35. Okay, you say to yourself, okay, if his dad is making an argument, you look at Abdullah Mason, and his fourth fight was 5-0, right? With limited experience. But you go to Floyd Scofield, and you go to his fourth fight, you have a fighter that's at over 40 professional fights, man. He's over 40 professional fights already. So you say to yourself, but he's 7-35. He's over 40 professional fights. So what do you balance heavy? Do you say 5-0 because the O look good, or you take the experience? You take the experience. I'm going with the experience. I'm just saying, you got to go with the experience, bro. You have to go with the experience. But let me get back to this video though.
Then I don't have to explain it again. He haven't fought the next level of fighters yet that Floyd fought to become a contender. It's a difference. He's a prospect. He's a contender. It's a reason it's like that. So you can shake your head all you want. It's a reason he's a prospect still, and he's a contender. He's contending for the title. He's hoping to get up to be a contender. That's what I'm saying. He's still growing.
Wait, what's he talking about?
No,
No. The question is, how did you rank your level of competition that you fought thus far?
I just told you.
No. But hear me, Pop. Hear me out. I know that Kid Austin is ranked number 2. But we know how this sanctioning stuff works. You in this bit of
I
boxing.
don't know how the sanctioning stuff work. You're making that up if you say you know how the sanctioning stuff work. And if you do, I'm going to ask you to elaborate because, like,
I'm fixing to elaborate right now. I've spoken
tell
to
me how the WBA work, brother. Please tell me.
I don't know how they work.
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
And see, that's where you just got to put the seatbelt on and put it in cruise control, because you're talking to a person. This is the way I look at it. You look at it, Pops. Pops is knowledgeable to the game, and his interaction with the inside of boxing is a lot of what us outsiders don't know. You know, from the outside looking in, it's a lot of information I don't know. But when you talk about these cats who has fighters, no matter when you come into this game, social media, and decide to, build a channel or whatever, if you're not raising a fighter and you're not connected to a lot of people, there's a lot of information that you miss. So when Pops asked to elaborate, because Malachi made a good point though, he said, we know how the sanctioning bodies work. And it is. Yeah, they do work a certain way. And it is politics involved in the sanctioned body. We see it with the WBC all the time. So once again, yes, let's make that clear. We know how the sanctioned bodies work. But the way Pop is coming like, if you telling me you know how the sanctioned bodies work, well, break it down. Elucidate. That means explain to me, provide me clarification as to how the sanctioned bodies work. And that's when you should have your default already set. If you're going to say you know how they work, you have to be willing to give your timeline on okay, this is what, first, I'm going to tell you this about the WBA. You don't even have to specify a specific sanction body. You can just say, okay, this is how this works in the sanction bodies. This can actually happen with this fighter if you do this, this, and this, according to who he's signed with, his manager or whatever. You have to have your answers in a row, ready and lined up. You get a person like Pops, he's going to say, okay, explain it to me. This dude is adjusting the screen and he's doing other things. You can tell he got an abundance of knowledge. He's talking and multitasking and he's still in tune with what's going on. He said, explain to me how the WBA then. This ain't no run-of-the-mill nigga right here, bro. He's doing other shit and still staying on task mentally.
So you're telling me that you know what works. What I'm saying is he's a contender.
I get that.
If you got that question won't come out your mouth anymore.
So he said if you got that he's a contender, the question won't come out your mouth no more. So he's getting straight to the point. If you understand my son being a contender, he's ranked number 2, then you wouldn't ask anything else about we know how the sanction body work. Because like I said, I gave you the 4th opponent that Floyd, and I gave you 5. There's nothing wrong with Abdullah fighting an undefeated fighter. Actually, that's a bow tie. You know what I'm saying? That's a nice dressed up bow tie for Abdullah Mason. Absolutely fight an undefeated fighter early on in your career like that and getting them O's on your record. It looks good. It looks dressy. Then when you get over here to Floyd fighting a fighter in his 4th fight that has 40 professional fights, you say to yourself, damn, that's a lot of freaking experience. It don't matter if Mike Fowler has 35 losses. That dude has a lot of experience for a professional fighter that's only contending in his 4th professional fight. That veteran can go in there and upset Floyd Schofield if he's not the fighter who they claim he is. He may potentially take a L. Who have we known to come in here and supposed to be the fighter? Well, of recent, we know Rabisa Ramirez was one of those fighters who lost his first professional fight. We know Bernard Hopkins, one of those fighters. It happens, bro, and you can rebound from it. But that's all I'm trying to make with my analogy.
No, Pop, listen, man.
That's good. You respect boxing, right?
Yeah, I respect boxing.
Boxing have prospects for a reason and contenders, right?
I get that. I'm past that.
Hold up. So if you get that, why do they have contenders as contenders then?
No, because he's still building. He's still
No. That's prospect. Prospect is still building.
Oh yeah, prospect. Yeah.
Contenders.
He's right. Prospect is still building. Real talk. Prospect is still building. But when you come a contender, now you really get into the money part of it. You know, it's a lot more areas that you have to deal with to actually get the shot. When you start talking about interim titles, you know what I'm saying? Hold on for a second, y'all.
As contenders.
Because he's been through the prospects stage, and now he's to the point to where he worked his way up. Yeah.
He fought champions. He fought people that have been in the ring with champions, and now he got the ranking. And now
he's right.
He moved up there. Now he's a contender to fight for a title. So why are you still saying how I compare him and Mason?
Look. No matter how people are talking about the theatrics, he's right. And this is where people get rained on. They're looking at the amount of fights. But when I was going through Schofield's record, and it's not the first time I went through his record, I did notice that he fought fighters that had a lot of experience early on. And I'm going to give you the example. When you look at Schofield's 17 professional fights, his opponents, their wins total up to 217 wins. All right? Mason, his opponents total up to 130 wins. When it comes to losses, this where you have to really calibrate, or this is when you know, like Pops mentioned, your boxing intellect comes into play. Mason has 41 losses when you add up all his opponents up to this point of 15 professional fights. It totals up to 41 losses. Floyd Schofield, his opponents tally up to 145 losses. So you say to yourself, man, that's a hell of a lot of losses for 17 pro fights. But also you have to look at what his Pops just said. He said, well, if you know that, then you don't have to say it. If you understand why he's a contender, that means his opposition that he fought champions. So that's really some jewels right there, because you look at the amount of losses and the amount of wins, and you say to yourself, oh man, that's not a pretty record. That's not a dressy record. You know what I'm saying? I want to look at a record that's a bit more higher wins and lower amount of losses. But you have to hear what he's saying. He's saying you have to look at who his son has fought and their experience level. And then you have to dig deeper and see and assess who his opponents have fought if it's champions within that experience, therefore that will elevate him to a higher level. You know what I'm saying? In the ladder, in the WBA ladder. So when you look at the losses, that can be considered experience. But once again, it's no knock on Abdullah Mace's record because he's doing everything he's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? I think with Floyd Schofield, he started to level out and fighting opponents with just winning records at his 8th professional fight, I think. And Abdullah Mason at his 4th professional fight, I believe. Let's get down to it.
I'm not comparing. No, I didn't say him and Mason. I said
I'm gonna just break it down.
No, him and who?
For both.
no. I said how do you rank Kid Austin's level of competition that he's fought thus far?
I just answered you.
I know.
Contender means you fought a level above a prospect level.
I listen, Pop. I get that.
I measured it. I'm answering your question then.
Okay, I get that, but what I'm saying is some of these guys who he fought may not be looked upon. Like, dude, you can pay to get people to the top 10, man.
No, tell me which one, because now that's you just talking. Tell me.
See, he finally said it. Malachi said you can pay to get somebody in the top 10. And look, I'm not here to basically come over the top. You know what I'm saying? Because it is some points made that's valid on both sides, right? But I have to say, when you're speaking to somebody, you have to read like this. This is what I say when it comes to this boxing. You just can't come in like it's church service and think you're gonna know everything about the Bible just based off a couple of weeks of sermons, man. Like he's in there with a real vocal hitter that understands the knowledge. It's so much knowledge in boxing that you won't learn from the outside looking in unless you're traveling with the people that you're talking to like them. Like I said, you know, his dad is dropping some valid points. He's talking about the experience level. Well, on the outside is media. He said you journalists have to do your homework. You need to do your homework. He's right. We do. We need to do our homework. We do. And the way he's looking, yeah, he may come off as being controlling, so to speak. In some cats like him that got that experience, you ain't gonna get a word in unless you saying something that they like to hear. You know, you saying something like intellectually, your boxing IQ is up there when it comes to knowledge. If you're not in the ring talking, your IQ needs to be out there. If Malachi was educating Pops, then Pops he'd be a little bit more quiet. He said, "You're right." But then you heard what he said, right? If you know it, then you wouldn't ask that question. And what he's saying is he's up there because of the competition that he's fought, has champions within their numbers or their resume, within their experience as professional fighters that allow his son to be in that position. Now Malachi has finally said that, you know, you can pay to have it in the rankings, which, yes, money plays a huge role. Even though his statement seems to be a bit harsh and abrasive to say, well, this the insinuation that I'm putting out there that we already know fighters can pay to have their way. It's true. That's not false. But I do believe what Pop's saying, though, when he's saying that, no, he fought certain fighters, because I gave you the amount of wins. When you total up 17 fights, his opponents has 217 wins to Abdullah Mason 130. But at the end of the day, man, it comes down to physical, mental. I'm not going against either fighter. I'm just breaking this live down. That's all. I'm doing a review. That's it. Tell me
one person that Floyd fought that you're basing that on, and then we're gonna do the research right here in front of you.
No, I'm asking you.
No, you didn't ask. You made a statement.
No, you're not listening. No.
If you're asking, I gave you the answer. You're still telling me no. I leveled it by he's a contender.
I get that.
A contender opponent is harder than a prospect opponent.
Okay,
wait, listen.
I got you.
It's a fact. Boxing say that. So y'all don't have to say what's my opinion. What boxing opinions say about Mason and Floyd? Floyd is a contender, should be fighting for a title, and Mason not there yet. So stop turning this like it's a personal thing. This is the business of boxing. All you have to do is say, why boxers say Floyd is a contender and Mason not. Go ask the WBA then.
I'm not.
No,
Pop.
I'm asking you. Why don't you go? You can message the WBA, get them on there. You can ask them why Kid is up there. You could do the due diligence. Y'all don't have to twist it like Pop ain't just making shit up. This is the business.
No.
See, when you run into cats like Pop, real talk, you either gonna know your shit from experience or you gonna get educated. Point blank, point blank, period. You gonna get educated. Some niggas you can't talk your way around, bro. This is one of them. Because he's getting straight to the point. He ain't trying to sugarcoat. I'm not sitting up here, man, showing, just listening and saying, oh, he making good. I'm just saying, I know what direction he's going in. I'm going to give you some more information on why, what I haven't heard. I gave Malachi the benefit of the doubt to see if he was able going to present it, but he hasn't yet. So let's see if it keeps going. Let's see if he present this information.
But I think you're twisting what I'm saying. I'm not comparing Kid to
You comparing
Abdullah
the
Mason.
competition, and I answered the competition of a contender is harder than the competition of a prospect. I've already broke it down. That's the English. That's what it is. So if you want to go above that, he has to ask the WBA. Why do y'all rank? No, listen, because I'm giving you an answer. You have to go to the WBA and ask the WBA. Why do you rank certain fighters over this part?
I don't disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to know from the WBA, they should be able to give you an answer. Like I said, his opponents have more experience than Abdullah Mason. That takes nothing away from Abdullah Mason as a fighter. Very talented. Both fighters are very talented. And Abdullah Mason's been shining as of late. You know what I'm saying? People have him highly touted to do big things. But he's still on the growth stage, right? And I'm glad, he is at this point where he's being considered and people want to see him fight. It's good to see people want to see him and Floyd fight. They should include that other guy too, Keyshawn, and everybody else is over there too to fight. But I understand the criteria which Pops is using, because when it comes to Floyd Schofield, regardless of him having just 2 more professional fights, there's a lot more that he's did when it comes to the experience, whether it be win or losses. You want me to read off something else? Okay, let's talk about rounds. Let's talk about the rounds. Abdullah Mason has fought 4 4-rounders, 7 6-rounders, and 4 8-rounders. Okay? Once again, I repeat. Listen to what Pops is saying. And he's pretty much, if you understand, then I already explained it. I don't have to break it down again. I told you, there's contenders and there's prospects. The contenders' level opposition has been much more tougher than that of a prospect. I told you that. Now, it's up to you to go educate yourself on what I mean by the contenders, resume being a lot tougher than a prospect. You have to go and scrub the resume and see who his opposition has fought. You can't look at the wins and losses. You have to look at it as experience, because Pops is saying that experience, those fighters has been in there with champions possibly. Abdullah Mason, 4 4-rounders, 7 6-rounders, 4 8-rounders. You want to know about Floyd? Floyd has fought 4 4-rounders, 3 6-rounders. Okay? 5 8-rounders. 5 10-round fights. Once again, 4 4-rounders. He's 17-0, right? Do the math. 4 4-rounders, 3 6-rounders, 5 8-rounders, and 5 10-rounders now. 5 freaking 10-rounders, bro. And look, 2 professional fights on. That's why Pops is going in with a machete, because this is the knowledge that he knows. His son has fought 5 10-round fights, bro. Abdullah Mason has had 4 4-rounders. Yes, that levels out. That's balanced out for both fighters. And then when it get to the 6-rounders, Abdullah fought more 6-rounders, 7 6-rounders than Floyd with only 3. This is his pops moving him up, his manager, whatever. They only do 3 6-rounders and then go to 8-rounders. 5 freaking 8-rounders now. 5 8-rounders. 5 10-rounders. Okay. Let me get back to the vid.
You need your answer. All I told you is we fought harder competition than Mason. And we fought way more than Mason the hard route. It wasn't handed. Mason might have fought 5 fluff guys for all I know. And now facing guys that's more tempo. I don't know. He's not ranked with us. So that's how you could say with the different level in competition. It had to be a different level if we ranked and he not.
It is. It is, man. People looking at the cleanness, looking at the skills. This is not to do with the skill set. Both of these guys have skills. Real talk. Both of these brothers have skills. But Pops is not just talking shit, man. He is absolutely correct when you look at the amount of rounds. Look, first you look at the experience of his opposition per resume. And then you look at the rounds to be able to move your fighter up the certain amount of rounds when you think they're ready to jump up. 3 6-rounds is it. Who made that decision? Who evaluated? Somebody evaluated Floyd Schofield and said, man, hey, it's time for you got 3 6-rounds. Let's move you up to 8-rounders. Then he's still undefeated. He go up to 5 freaking 8-rounders to Abdullah Mason's 4 right now. Even though he only has 15, Floyd Schofield has more experience early in his resume. Okay? Then you have to look at 10-rounders when you only have, hold on for a second. When you only have 2 professional fights separating these young warriors, but yet you have a fighter that's had 5 10-round fights already. That is inserted and injected into the ranking process. How are you going to convince me? How are you going to convince me that a fighter who has been scheduled for higher rounds is on the equal level of a fighter who's still on 8-rounders, vice a fighter who's on 10-rounders? And then how are you going to convince me the experience level, though it isn't a good look, it's still fighters who's been in there and had more experience. In your 4th fight, you're fighting somebody over 40 professional fights in your 4th fight? A lot of fighters aren't doing that. Everybody's build up is different. I'm just saying.
So people got to stop being ignorant. That's all that is. Do business, do your work. It's that simple. We're not walking holding your hand on simple shit. Go call the WBA.
Pop,
He talking this shit, man. He said we ain't holding y'all hand on simple shit. You know, it's simple shit to him because he got the knowledge. Sometimes, you know, cats like him, you got to be good listeners because it's a lot of fluff to be on the YTC where people can go and do a roundabout all the time. But then you have a bull like him that come running through that motherfucking people get injured. He said, who told y'all to run around and goddamn circle the wagon and shit? Who told y'all to do that shit? Y'all have to do your research. You know what I'm saying? He said, I'm not going to hold y'all hand on simple shit. But best know this. If you get Floyd Schofield Sr. on your platform, the only way you're going to allow him to be a bit more quieter than he is now, if you present him with some information that makes sense and you understand what he's trying to teach and what he's trying to put out there. Yeah, he may be over talking, that he is, but he's trying to say, no, you're trying to compare what my son has done to Abdullah Mason when you can clearly look on his resume and do your homework. I'm not going to hold your hand on doing your homework on my son if you're trying to compare him to Abdullah Mason. all because people are high on Abdullah Mason, maybe more than Floyd or whatever the case may be. Do you know what I'm saying? They say, look at the experience. This man has 5 10-rounders already. You know, Andy Cruz came into the game. His first fight was a 10-rounder. That's an Olympic gold medalist, bro.
They'll give you all the numbers. They'll give you all the fights of each individual and how it was ranked. They'll give you the formula. We didn't buy our way on, and you know that. So for it to come out your mouth, it's like, because you
Pop, listen.
Hold up, listen. You know, even Freeway Rick Ross, you know how hard we had to grind financially to pay our own way. So you talk about people could get ranked in the you know we didn't get ranked that way. So all that corny stuff got to go out because y'all making people believe something that ain't real. None of them is on his level. The ranking shows that. So that means his competition must have been harder. All you got to do is look at who they fought, what champions they fought. So
I don't think it's being processed. I understand he's saying what champions they fought. Look on my son's resume and look at when you get a cat who has experienced over 40 professional fights, unless you got one of these anomalies that's out there. When there's a fighter that was out there and he got his first freaking championship fight and he had over 30-something or 40-something fights. But what he's saying is go do your homework with who my son has fought and see who they fought, who his freaking opposition has fought. If they have champions within that experience that I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? The ones that's up here, the 7-35, 15-22, 7-15, 10-4. If they've been in there with champions, then it's going to be a level change. It's going to be a gap.
come on now. Nobody playing these games. It's business. Simple business. We're not doing nothing but fighting. Ask us about fighting. These dudes don't want to get in the ring with us. We invited them. We offered them, tell us how much y'all want, we give y'all what y'all want. They don't want to fight them. So why are we still talking about the same motherfuckers ducking them? We promoting them for free. We on the hour promoting them. They don't want to fight them. Next question. We are the standard in boxing. We said that no champion came out and said otherwise in 3 years. So why you not saying that? You've been around us for 4 years. You know this. Why you not saying, Devin, none of them coming out of positive?
Now, this where it got, I didn't know. You've been around us for 4 years. It's good to be around a fighter for 4 years. This is where it gets to a little bit different type of understanding for me as to why he was so driven in his points. Because, Malachi has been around them before, been invited to the crib, broke bread. So he's saying, well, it's certain, like I'm telling this dude is not the run-of-the-mill dude, bro. Like he wait till now after saying all that to let the world know that, hey man, don't act like you don't know who I am. You've been around us for 4 years. We had sidebar. We had private conversations about this boxing shit. I mean, I trusted you enough because of the background and all this other shit, bro. Now the light is shining a little bit brighter for people. I mean, in this entire conversation, man.
I've been saying this. Pop been in the ring with all of them and said Floyd is the greatest boxer ever. None of them said no, he not. So why you not telling your fans that?
Pop,
so
do
responsibility if we cool because
Pop.
See, I don't know too much about the greatest fighter. I'm not gonna talk too much about it because obviously it's 17 fights. You're not considered the greatest fighter ever. It's no way, It's no way because when we talk about greatest fighters, they have way more experience and they've been in there with a plethora of other surplus of champions, and they're much older and experienced in the game. This is where I'm just gonna let the audio play itself out or whatever and see what Malachi has to say in response.
Did you hear the question I asked you?
I heard the question you said about the pyramid competition, and I gave you the answer. You just couldn't comprehend.
No, but Pop, but you cut me off, and you're not even letting me.
What I'm saying.
So I got your answer. I got your answer. I asked you to compare your level of confidence, just yourself.
No,
not
I'm
what
saying you know the level. You know the comparison. You've been around us for years. You've been around our elder. You've been in our house. You, as a media guy, know this. So you can answer it for them yourself.
I mean,
this is the part I don't get. You know. So why you not telling them? No, listen. Why you not telling them?
So
have they came out? I'm asking you a question. Have they came out and said differently?
Yes. That's
who?
Listen. Every fighter has criticism.
No,
so
I said have they came out and said differently about Floyd, and I said Floyd the greatest of all time. Have Shakur came out, Devin, all the champions he shared the ring with, have they came out and said differently, and you know they have it.
What fighters? I don't know any fighters that said that Floyd was nephew was the greatest of all time. That's you saying.
I said Floyd is the greatest boxer of all time.
Right.
Have you heard of Devin coming out saying he's not? Have you heard of Shakur saying he's not? Have you heard of any champion that shared the ring saying he's not?
What does that mean?
Yes or no? That's a yes or no question. Have you?
I don't remember. I don't recall any, to be fair.
I know you don't, but you've been around us 4 years and you know these answers to most of these questions that you ask.
Damn. That's some one-on-one tennis right there, boy. For real. When you're around somebody though, the expectations are way higher when you have public conversations like this, especially if they're disputing the actions for which they're witnessing. They're saying that, hey, you've been around us, bro. Come on, stop it, man. You know what the talk has been about. You know what our conversation. We know what the topic's been. And you know that the ebbs. You know what we're talking about, man. You know the energy. You know you understand the familiarization because you've been around us. I feel where you're coming from. It's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you break that barrier and you make it personal, you visit somebody's domicile, and I'm pretty sure, you know, when you're gonna have some boxing conversations. You're definitely gonna have some boxing conversations with him. Schofield Pops. He's definitely that dude that'll talk some boxing with you, bro. And sometimes you just have to sit back and listen while he's talking to him. So when you have moments like this and he's reverting back to when y'all met and how long you've been around the family, you can be better prepared. Because he sound like a dude that talk boxing all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
But the people don't. But listen. But I'm asking you a question for the people. This is what the people are saying.
You know the answer though. What I'm saying is don't play like answer the people. We here with you. You know for sure. You know his record. You know his resume. You know what he did to these people. You know. So all I'm saying is don't play like wishy-washy. Tell them.
Pop.
Tell them how great he is. You tell them how great he is.
He said, tell them how great he is. Hey, who said that? Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? Tell them how great I am. I'm the greatest. You're not that great. And you remember? They tried to shut him down. He said, tell him how great he is. Damn, that's some golden words. I ain't gonna lie. She said, you tell him how great he is.
You haven't been there. You haven't interviewed us and factually found out this to be true.
I haven't. No, listen. You know what? The only one I ever heard say that was you.
Word. So you haven't seen an interview with me and Bill up there. You haven't even heard none of the other people say it. So you're not doing none.
Bill, you talking about the interview that you and
you're not doing none of your work. That's what I'm asking.
No, man. Listen.
Jeez. I know that's frustrating. I ain't gonna lie, and I'm not doing. I don't have nothing negative to say about Malachi's response and how he's handling this verbal exchange, this dialogue. But the Olympics just finished, and this is track and field on social media when it comes to boxing knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Real talk, because this dude is running the 1,500 meters right now. And it's not in a bad way to say Malachi wasn't prepared for this round of freaking exchange, but obviously there's levels to this, and he's on a different level. Pops is on a different level. And yeah, it's frustrating because he ain't letting the man speak on his own freaking panel. Yeah, for sure. If I didn't know him, I would be frustrated. I was like, damn. But then I have to process and say, I allowed him to be on my panel though. So, like I tell everybody, I have no problem with getting educated. Some people, when you educate them publicly, whether they're in your chat or on your panel, people don't want to provide them with the courtesy to say, appreciate that info. Don't nobody know everything about boxing. there's areas and pockets, different alley, private room. Boxing extends. You know what I'm saying? So everybody don't know anything, but this dude Pops, man, is just like multitasking mentally about boxing. You can tell his motherfucking database. He's doing other shit and still staying on freaking course. He knows what the fuck is going on. You just can't say, well, other people. He's the type of dude to say, what other people? Name them. The WBA. What about the WBA? Well, you know how they can, fight. No, tell me how. What's the procedures? Tell me what you know. When a person asks you that, you really got to pump the brakes and say, damn, do I really know the procedure, or do I know what I've heard on the YTC? This is a clear example. This is a clear example of off-roading. This is off-roading. This is rough terrain right here. Because you run into some people that's driving a 4x4 versus a 2-wheel drive. Seriously. He has a wealth of knowledge, man. You can tell the dude has a wealth of freaking knowledge, man.
Pop, you took this somewhere else.
No, I'm not saying what I'm saying is, you've been around us 4 years. You even been in my house. What I'm saying is you're being phony. And
how am I being Pop? Okay.
Let me explain why. You know his resume. You know who we've been in the ring with. You know what fighters he got ready. This ain't the first time I was telling you. You've been around us 4 years.
Damn.
But you sitting there acting like you don't know this guy is the truth. It ain't to answer the fans. You can say from real, you interviewed us so many times. So you know these questions, but you asking stuff like it's
Pop, listen,
like it's made up.
No, Pop, listen. You said that your son is the greatest fighter of all time. That's your opinion. I don't feel that way.
And
now,
I didn't ask that you feel that way. I asked you, did any champion that shared the ring come out and say that I'm...
Man, I just have to take a break because, listen, Malachi, I'm not trying to do any type of drubbing, nor am I trying to, freaking, what I'm saying, have any back and forth. You know how I do live reactions. And if you've been around this guy and understands what his elevation and energy is, somehow it may have been brushed off, because it may have been a moment where you thought you would never have to visit this dude in a setting like this. You would never have to have him come on your panel, and you and him are on different sides of the spectrum now. I don't know. I don't see Pop as being that person that really didn't give you this energy when you was in his crib. I've been around dudes like this, man. These loud dudes that has a lot of freaking knowledge, and they talk, but sometimes you just gotta say, well, I ain't being a bitch if I shut up and listen. Let me be quiet and try to understand the game. Like, I've spoken to some OGs on the phone where I just sat there and listened. They was telling me shit that I didn't know. I was like, God damn, I didn't know that shit. I'm up here taking fucking notes. Let me jot that down right quick. I didn't know that. I didn't know that right there. I didn't know that. So this dude is multitasking, doing a panel, and it's just like you're being taken to an area where maybe, what I'm saying, your knowledge base on this part about, Floyd, you wasn't up to par to converse with his pops. Maybe when you was in the house together, y'all wasn't strictly talking about it, but he's saying y'all went over this with his son before. So he's pretty much making it known, like, I've spoken to you about this. I've told you about where we at. And look, if you really feeling and you really being led into somebody's freaking personal space, and it's a boxing type of situation where you're media and you're going in there to learn about somebody's son, you need to pay the hell attention. You need to pay attention. If you give any credit to them, a high energy dude like Pops, man, is gonna hold you to that. This dude is rambling off stuff, just like combinations, bro. And this dude is full fucking speed. Full speed. Bam, bam, bam. Right after the other. You say, I never told you that. I didn't say you told me. I said other people's didn't deny it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm lying. That's the question I asked you, yes or no. You
Did-
went somewhere else.
But none of these guys came out and said that they think Pop.
Now, when Shakur did interview, because I'm just giving you facts. I'm giving your fans facts. You in some other place. What I'm saying to you is, you know already. Tell your fans, stop acting different. You've been
Wait. So you want me to tell the subscribers that Kid Austin is the greatest fighter of all time?
No, that ain't what I'm saying. I want you to tell them what you told me while you be in the house with me.
Oh, see, this is where, you know, I would never be put in this situation. Never. Because I'm just not that dude to go in here and no. I mean, if I believe, I believe until you make me a disbeliever. You know what I'm saying? A non-believer, whatever. I'm a believer until you make me a non-believer. You know what I'm saying? Till you put me in a situation of disbelief. Well, this dude is going full freaking speed. He said, tell him what you told me. I don't think it has to do with your subscribers. I think it's more than subscribers. This has close to 5,000 views already. So it's more than subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just way more than the subscribers that's in there.
Don't act different.
What I told you?
You said nephew is all that. None of them men beating nephew. That's what
I said that.
You didn't say that when you came through every time you've been around us?
He said, Malachi came in there and said, none of them beat nephew. None of them beat nephew. And look at his son. Look at this son over there smiling. Looking at the younger us, man, look at both of them. You know they ain't lying because both of them smiling the same. Like, yeah, nigga, you said that shit. You did. You did say that shit. You saying none of them be nephew. We said, look at him. When brothers smile like that, that's not some sneakish. That's like, yeah, you did. We linking up. Him and his son smiling at the same time. They linking up to say, yeah, man, I remember we was both here now.
No, I did say nephew was the truth. But wait, hold on.
I'm gonna shut up.
You're not hearing it.
Wait, hold on, nephew, hold on. I've complimented nephew several times on this podcast.
Control us because you're acting different. That's all I'm.
How am I acting different?
All right, so now that we got respect and you know who he is, stop asking us some weird.
No, listen. If you don't like the question, say you don't like the question. This started. Bro, listen. Listen. No, Pop. You projected now. This is what I asked you. All I asked you was how did you rank your level of competition that you fought thus far? You went to talk about I'm comparing to Abdullah Mason. You went to talk about I'm acting phony. You went to talk about.
I'm talking about you. I educated you on the ranking before. I told you how the ranking go. So it's like you don't know what I told. And then
he said he educated Malachi on the rankings. I believe him. Because he's educating as he's continued to go 200 miles per hour. He understands what's in his archives. I believe someone that speaks on them, like, listen, I'm just speaking for this case and this case only. Hearing how he's maintaining gear shifts, real talk. He's shifting gears. And he's going back and forth from gear number 2 to gear number 5. And he's staying on the road, man. He's staying in his lane. He said, no, I've educated you on the ranking system. So why are you acting like you don't know how they work? We've had this conversation before. So pretty much he said, I expect you to know because I told you. I educated you. I gave clarification as to how the rankings work. You don't remember or you wasn't paying attention. And he said that, yeah, you said my son, ain't nobody beating my son. And both of them had the same smile on their face like, yeah, nigga, yeah, you did say that. So now you're at a point where he's putting you on freaking notice because he felt you was acting different.
You're going to ask me, how do I compete? How we got there last time me and you spoke. I told you how to make it go.
Pop.
Could you let me speak?
Pop, hold on.
I even told
I've been letting you speak. You ain't letting me speak. That's the problem.
No, both of y'all be quiet. I'm gonna just like.
Nah, it ain't nothing to break it up. It ain't no argument.
It is like everybody gonna have their opinion.
No, that ain't what it is. We're not talking about an opinion. What I'm talking about is
Pop say we ain't talking about opinions. That's the young mind in him. He say, I want peace. I want peace. Everybody can have their own opinion. I ain't mad at you, youngin. I was once in your shoes, but my pops was hey man. Hey, you know what I'm saying? He said, we ain't talking about opinions.
a characteristic that don't be phony around me and different otherwise. That's all I'm saying.
Pop.
Well, let me speak, please, brother. What I'm saying is man and man out of respect. Don't be one way with me. Then you get on these interviews, and me and you spoke about Keyshawn already. Me and you spoke about these things. If you feel Kid is one of the best, why you not saying why you think that he could deal with Keyshawn? If you told him in his face he's the best.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh my God. Dang. I mean, solid point, man. That's all I'm saying. He said, if you said my son was the best, when you get in these conversations, why don't you explain to other people what you said to him in private? Say it in public. Say it in public. Convince the people that why you think he's the best. I mean, it's validation, man. It's no fake shit. He said, don't be fake around me. You know what I'm saying? Keep the same energy, keep the same mentality you had when we was 101 in private and you inside my home. And we're talking as men. I get it, man. I totally understand.
This, I think you could beat this one. Now you're acting different. I don't like that.
Pop, that's a lie, Pop. That's a lie. Listen, let me tell you something. Oh, Pop, let me tell you something. The only way we gonna know if Kid Austin is the best, he got to get in the goddamn ring and fight them other goddamn fighters.
So he hasn't been fighting? You were the first one to say y'all work harder than everybody.
No,
Hold up, that was out of your mouth.
Dang. He said you've been working harder than everybody. This dude is checking the boxes, and he got his eyes closed, dog. He don't even need his eyes open to have this freaking conversation, because when people are telling, like this dude doesn't even give you an information overload right off the back. He slowly dissects and spread load. It's time released. That's a dangerous person to have a conversation. His shit is time release, because he's telling you every time he takes you back from when you think he's left what happened back then. He takes you back there real quick, like, hey, you told me. That's what you told me right there. You told me. You didn't hear what he said? He said, you told me. Let's go back and watch what he
It ain't nothing to break it up. It ain't no argument.
Listen to what he said.
Like, everybody gonna have their opinion.
No, that ain't what it is. We're not talking about an opinion. What I'm talking about is a characteristic that don't be phony around me and different otherwise. That's all I'm saying.
Pop.
Well, let me speak, please, brother. What I'm saying is man and man out of respect. Don't be one way with me. Then you get on these interviews, and me and you spoke about Keyshawn already. Me and you spoke about these things. If you feel Kid is one of the best, why you not saying why you think that he could deal with Keyshawn? If you told him in his face he's the best, this, I think you could beat this one. Now you're acting different. I don't like that.
Pop, that's a lie, Pop. That's a lie. Listen, let me tell you something. Oh, Pop, let me tell you something. The only way we gonna know if Kid Austin is the best, he got to get in the goddamn ring and fight them other goddamn fighters.
So he hasn't been fighting? You were the first one to say y'all work harder than everybody.
No,
Hold up, that was out of your mouth. That was out of your mouth, so you was being phony?
Pop, I'm not being phony. You got to listen, Pop. Pop, you're not listening.
I asked you a question.
You're not, Pop, you're not listening. The only way we're going to know is Kid Austin is better than Tate, better than Shakur, better than any of these guys. He has to fight these guys, bro.
What you talking about, brother? You ain't switching that. That's manipulation. We talking about
you switched the whole thing.
I'm talking about you being phony to me.
How in the hell am I being phony to you?
I'm saying it to you. You come around me saying one thing, and like you said there, you said Kid is the best. This. You told him out of your mouth. All this shit. Now you get up here. Don't act.
Bro. I see where you're going from. I wasn't privy to the conversation, nor can I sit up here and act like I was in the motherfucking, I was in the cut listening. I don't know, but just like he said, has anybody said to his kid, what is the greatest fight of all time? I understand what he's asking, a direct question. Have you heard anybody say different? The answer would be no if you haven't heard anybody say different. So right now, when he's telling you about what you said to his son, you're not denying it. He said it was a lie, but he said, listen, if you think my son is the best, explain to the other people when you're in these conversations and there's some comparisons being divvied out rather. Explain to them why you on my side, because that's what you told my son. So I can understand as a father, if you have another grown man that's your age group telling your son something, be real about that, because these youngins, these youth, they soak that in. They're sponges. They're soaking everything in. So if they get an older elder and he has a dad with that high energy that lives on a different code of respect, and you tell his kids something and say, hey man, I believe you this and this, you work harder than everybody, they're gonna definitely check you if they have the opportunity. If you online saying different, because you may have forgot what you told. You may not be still, tightly connected to these. I don't know. I wasn't there, man. I'm just giving a review. And don't get it twisted. I'm not acting like I was a fly on the wall. I was sitting in the cut and I heard the entire conversation because they was in the open talking about it. I'm just saying this dude goes back and forth and he's not rambling on like he don't know what he's talking about. He's connecting dots like he's playing a motherfucking game.
Guys, all you want,
Bro, you flipping this whole thing, making it something that is not, fam.
Bro, I'm not flipping it. I'm just telling you, talking to you, stop doing the phony stuff. You tell me one thing, now you up here doing something different. At least tell your subscribers the same shit you're telling me. That's what.
No, no.
That's facts. Tell your subscribers the same. He tell me. I don't know what Malachi told him. I'm just going off what Pop is talking about. Period. I'm not taking no sides. All I'm going on is assessing and I'm reviewing what I hear in front of me. And I've been living long enough, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been living. I don't think Pop's older than me, to be honest. But I've been living long enough and been around a lot of cats. You know what I'm saying? And you get a feel for it. People on this YTC, they'll sit up here, stay behind the scenes and talk shit. Oh, you don't know. I know, man. You don't tell everybody about your life. You know what I'm saying? This dude's up here shifting gears the whole freaking conversation. Now, I'm not saying 100% he's right in what he's saying because I wasn't there for the conversation. But you just have to read people sometime. You have to listen to them. And when they're able to go back and then stay on topic, go back again, stay on topic, and they level changing in front of you with different evidence. I know where he's at right now. He's saying, hey, you told me one thing, bro. This ain't about no subscribers and shit. You told me one thing, and as men, I'm holding you accountable. As if we was in private talking, and you told me one thing, I'm holding you accountable to your word. That's it. I'm letting you know, don't play with me, man. I'm telling you what you said. That's what I want you to have integrity about. If you spoke to me in private, speak about me the same in public. Speak about my son the same in public. If someone's up here trying to say, well, hey, Keyshawn, when it comes to Floyd Scofield and Keyshawn, well, what did you say to my son in public? I want you to convince the people publicly. What did you say to my son in private? I want you to convince the people publicly as to why you feel that Floyd Scofield will beat Keyshawn Davis. If that's the conversation. I get it. I understand.
No, you know what your problem is? Your problem is this. You want me to say what the fuck out there you want me to say. It don't work like that, fam. I'm not being phony with you. How the hell am I being phony with you? Man, you all right. How am I being phony with you?
I didn't ask you to say, because you came in my house and I tell your subscribers exactly what you said. There ain't no way Shakur beating Kid Nephew.
When I said that. When I said that.
When you was over here right in front of me and him.
Bro, the only way we're going to...
Never mind, you're not real then. Because I'm telling you what you said in front of me and him.
Yeah,
what I'm saying to you is don't be phony. If you feel Kid could beat Shakur, say it. Don't come up here like, oh, well, I don't know you. Nigga, that ain't what you said to us. That ain't what you were saying to us.
Pop, that's not... Pop.
Can I stay at your house again over this time? Remember,
Pop.
you got more than just into this on YouTube. I don't like phony shit. Now, I answered your question how I measured them. I said, if you want beyond that, go to WBA. Maybe you didn't hear that. I didn't ask you to say nothing to your fans. I'm just saying, keep it real. Don't
Pop, you know what your problem is? You know what your problem is? That's the problem. You do so much talking that you don't give your ears an opportunity to hear what your mouth won't let you.
Brother,
That's the problem, brother. That's the problem.
That's a lie. I heard everything. I'm gonna repeat to you what you said. Like I'm repeating to you, you phony. That's the problem. You came in our house and you had this whole bullshit. I even got it on video.
How the fuck am I phony? How am I phony, Pop? Because I didn't agree with you?
No, I didn't ask you. Even Floyd just said you phony.
I didn't say.
You don't gotta whisper. You're phony, and I just told you how. Don't tell.
See, this is one of those deals where when Malachi said that you know, your problem is you speak so much you don't allow your ears to hear what you're saying. When you have a dude like him, right, his transmission and his recall memory is on a whole nother speed level. He's sending out information, receiving information to the point where he don't need to hear what he's talking about. Because we know as humans that we can close our eyes and our mouth and we still can have a conversation with ourselves mentally. We can do that. So just because it's able to be vocalized, you know what I'm saying? We have audio. His ears don't need to hear because he's not speaking to himself. He's speaking to you. He already knows what he's saying. So he don't need to hear. It's just at a point right here, if he selects to make a choice on to allow you to talk or not. And I know it sounds disrespectful, you know, real talk, because this is your platform and you're the one listening. He ain't giving you a chance to talk. But when it becomes personal, sometimes as men, we don't allow people to talk because they've given you the opportunity to breach their freaking personal space. And you said what you said to his son, and he felt that there was a level of respect between you all. And then, you know, you're speaking to his seed. You're telling him things and his, it deals with his employment. His employment is global. This is a future, you know, what they perceive to be a future world champion. They perceive Floyd Schofield to be a special fighter. So therefore the conversation is like for him to be a special fighter. So therefore, if he's different than all the rest and he's not a bum, to have a conversation to other people is going to come up when you have more popular fighters. Yeah, Keyshawn may be more popular than Floyd. You feel me? Abdullah Mason at this point may be more popular. But he did make some solid points to say, well, the reason why he's ranked, if you're asking me and you have a question about the WBA, do your own research. I'm not holding your hand. But to do that research, you really have to thoroughly go in. And I know Malachi take notes, but sometimes you have to dive into there and really scrub the resume and understand that just because he has opponents with a lot of losses early in his career doesn't mean it doesn't constitute as experience. And also you have to click on that opponent to go down and see who they fought. They may have some championship fights in there. You have to check when they turn professional.
Tell me.
Pop, you lying, Pop. Pop, you know what? We just going to agree to disagree, brother. Pop, we just going to agree to disagree, brother. We just going to agree to disagree,
It
brother.
ain't no disagreement. You said one thing. Keep it real. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm telling you I didn't say that. So what, I'm going to take your word over what I know I said?
So what did you say?
I will say.
No, hold up. I want to hear some. What did you know? What did you say? Because you've been
I,
around a lot.
hold on. I said I said nephew is one of the best fighters I've seen in the gym. He's a great fighter. I love nephew. Hold on, hear me out. I love no, hold on. Hear me out, fam. Is you
See, it's tough. Listen, it's tough with a dude like that, man. He don't look. This dude is a listener, man. His shit is on freaking 1,000 RPMs right now. You see how you see how his attention to detail meter said the gym? You said the gym? You said the gym. And see, the reason why he's saying the gym and he's looking, because usually, I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. We don't say you're the best fighter in the gym because we don't know the fighters in the gym. You know what I'm saying? We don't know the fighters in the gym. A lot of fighters in the gym aren't in the same weight classes. So it's no such thing as he's the best fighter in the gym. He can't be the best fighter in the gym if there's questions about how he's in the ranking system where he's at. So if he's considered to still be a prospect, there's no way you can tell Floyd Schofield he's the best fighter in the gym if he's still on a prospect level. Now, if you consider him to be legitimately an official certified ranked opponent in the WBA, then I can see where you saying, hey, he's the best fighter in the gym. But I'm gonna be honest, all the gyms I've been to, I've never said a fighter's the best fighter in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like I never said it's the best fighter in the gym, because they're not fighting for the gym. They're fighting for world championship status, ranking status. They're fighting way outside the proximity of a gym. That's all I'm trying to make. That's the point I'm trying to make.
gonna let me fucking talk about you?
One of the greatest fighters you ever seen.
How in the hell have he fought the other goddamn fighters? How? How am I going to say, Pop, listen, how am I going to say that he's,
He said, bye, nigga, damn. I mean, look, I can understand the frustration.
it's this nigga here, man. Listen, let me tell you something, bro. Shout out to the kid Austin.
And look, I can understand where the frustration boiled over, real talk, because that was his platform, and he didn't get a goddamn word in for a good, consistent 60 seconds. But sometimes you get ran over. You may not want to hear that, but sometime in the conversation, you do get ran over, bro. Especially when it comes to boxing talk. Seriously. Real talk. I done been in conversations where I was having, and people's like, you know, having conversation, they was talking, because I was saying some shit. They said, okay. And, you know, the speed was good. And until they started taking me some places where I haven't traveled before. And then, you know, I have to start listening. And then I ask a question. And then they start talking. When somebody is talking and there's some shit that I feel is absolutely true, and I'm learning and I'm soaking this shit in, I'm archiving the information, I really shut the fuck up and listen. You know what I'm saying? But if that person an asshole, and I know how it could have been perceived that, you know, Floyd, Pops, was being kind of an ass tonight. He was, look, he was at certain points, and I feel the reason why he was doing it, not to speak for the man, obviously he can speak for himself. I just felt like he was being an ass about it because it was more it was on a personal level. He connected on a personal level. And I guess some words were exchanged where you spoke to his son and told him that you the best, ain't nobody beating you, and this, that. He might not said he was the best ever, because Malachi was making a point. It's like, why would I say that if he ain't fought the fighter? Well, when you tell a fighter, if you see a fighter coming up in the ranks and he has this skill set, you're like, damn, I don't see anybody beating him once he gets to his point to get a championship. He should be able to win that. You know, people tell you, man, you at this level, if you say that at this level, they're going to remember, at this level, man, he's one of the best fighters I've seen at this level in his career, at this point in his career. But if you go tell him you're one of the best fighters he's ever seen, and he has a dad that's a freaking human recorder, a human database, and this dude is able to play motherfucking connect the dots while playing tennis at the same time, you in trouble. Because he said, you said my son was the best. He said, yeah, I say he's the best in the gym. Say, the gym? The gym? When people correct you like that, it's like, man, his attention to detail is just crazy, bro. But it sucked that, yeah, he was being an ass a little bit, not letting, Malachi speak. But this ain't my channel, though. You know what I'm saying? This ain't my channel. Nor am I over here to give freaking therapy to people. This boxing talking conversation is brutal sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Hey, take this as a lesson, people that was listening in, right? Is that when you say, okay, well, you know how so-and-so do this. Well, you might run into somebody like Pops and be like, no, I don't know. Explain to me. No, you know. No, I don't know. That's street shit. That's street mentality. When you say somebody told you something, who? Oh, no, it was just either. Tell me who told you. You said somebody told you. No, listen, nigga, don't sit up here and tell me somebody told you and they didn't. If it was something you overheard and you was close enough to know who said it, then that's a different story. But if you just heard and you want to fabricate some shit, then say that. Did no one come to me directly and say it? That's all. He was holding him accountable to say, hey, this is exactly what you said in the privacy of my own home when we was talking amongst each other. This is exactly what you said. When somebody cut you off and hit you with specifics, and I know how no reason, I don't kiss ass, first of all. Because I know I get slimy motherfuckers get on here and talking about, oh, you kissing, because you don't like my. Now, I don't have no energy. Bro, I don't get on here talking about, oh, man. Look, if I really despise somebody, I'm not going to take time to do a review on their live stream. I'm not. I'm mature. Man, this is small. I had to deal with people on higher levels than this. I'm just saying when it comes to the interests of me, and some good shit was said, educational stuff, then I talk on it. I just felt like he made some good points. And I think at the end, he got off because he said, you told my son all this, you gave him credits, you complimented his style, you bigged him up, but now you're not telling the public. You get dudes that's been out there that's gonna hold you accountable and say, don't be fake around me, bro. Don't do it. No. I don't want to hear it. Don't be fake around me. You told my son this, did you not? No, answer my question. Did you not? Did you not tell him that? No, answer the question. Did you not tell him that? Who else did that? If you look at the interview between Floyd Mayweather and Brian Kenny, Floyd Mayweather was doing the same exact thing as Pops during this conversation. Tell me I'm lying. He said, hold up. Who did this? No. I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't want to hear that. Tell me. Who did this right here? You did. Okay, then. And then he'll go to somebody. Okay. If I did, let me ask you this. And all he want to do is hear the answers to his questions. And he's not asking you a question that don't have answers pertaining to the topic. No, the questions he's asking you is gonna have relevance to the fucking topic, bro. I understand where Malachi was going, like, you know how they do with the WBA, no, I don't. Tell me, because this is dealing with my son who's ranked high in the WBA. So this is pertaining to him. I'm not gonna let you rain on my son being ranked in the WBA. So explain to me what you mean. If you can't break it down to a dude like Pops, man, he gonna run you the fuck over and hit and throw the shit in reverse and speed over you again and goddamn put it in drive and keep on running you over until you have the motherfucking right freaking response, man. That's just the way it is with him. Cats like him. It's not like he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He know too much. He knows too much, bro. Just take it as a lesson learned, man. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I'd be feeling some type of way, if I just met him and he jumped on the panel, of course. But if somebody's, I've known for that long period of time and then we have a situation, yeah, it's supposed to hit on a more personal level. And fellas, understand one thing about conversation. When somebody gets you to a point where you start evaluating your choices, you know, in not all cases, what I'm saying? I'm just saying one that you can walk away from. Either you can walk away, you can shut it down if you feel like it's a good point to shut that shit down. Or if you choose to engage with a person that definitely they have both weapons unholstered. I'm talking about when it comes to the knowledge, when it talks to exchanging information, they're firing from both left and right. They firing off rounds. And you know that person intelligence level is much higher than where you at right now. Sometimes you have to egress. You have to egress. Egressing doesn't mean just leaving the area, exiting and be disrespectful. Sometimes like, okay, let me listen then. Go ahead. You make a good point. Go ahead. Or you get the fuck up out of there. Egress mean exit, man. Egress out that bitch. Or sometimes you got to meet fire with fire. You have choices, bro. You have choices on whether you want to listen. A nigga like that, freaking telling you some shit that he's being truthful, right? You know if he's being truthful if y'all was on a personal level. That's all I'm saying. You have choices, man. You have absolute choices. And sometimes, man, our manhood, our ego don't allow us to properly process a turbulent situation. It doesn't allow us to de-escalate a situation like that. Because listen, when you have some people thrive too heavy in the subscribers, so they never want themselves to look a certain way with subscribers. Don't nobody know everything, like I said before, but some people always want their subscribers to look at them like they're on a higher tier. No, people in your chat, you want them to be on the same tier. You want them to be knowledgeable too. So when it comes to having a conversation like them, a lot of shit that we wasn't privy to, we just found out publicly because he made it known. He said, hey, don't be phony around me. Keep the same energy that you had when you was in my crib. When you was telling my son, hey, man, you outwork everybody. And you look at Scofield's freaking training pics, man. He do be putting out some crazy, intense freaking training regimes out there. He do. It's good for his brand. I ain't gonna lie, it's good for his brand. But this was a entertaining live, to say the least. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you go check it out. It's on True Media Boxing Radio. Go check out the live. The title is Greg Hackett and Floyd Schofield Sr. gets heated on Mill City Boxing. Check out Mill City Boxing. Check out that interview. It was much different than this. Why? Because they was on two different sides of the spectrum when it comes to the inner workings of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Pops has been around because he also had a history with knowing something about Greg Hackett that we wasn't privy to, but we was able to listen at him having exchanges with who he thought, he felt Greg Hackett was kind of biased towards his son. You know what I'm saying? Father gonna be the protector. And then like this, come to find out, he said, hey, you known us for 4 years. That changed everything. That changed everything to the point where he said, no, tell him what you told us. Tell him what you told us. Tell him what you told us. That's all. That's all it was. Tell him what you told us. That's where it went. Tell them what you told us. That's all I want you to do, man. Tell them what you told us. If you feel my son is what you said in public, if you feel that way about my son, if you was being honest and not phony, Tell the people what you said. Tell them when they out here trying to compare these other fighters to my son. Tell them how good he is. Tell them how great he is. I can understand where he's from, though. Yeah, boy. Going to say, when I hear 50-50, I think of betting lines. 50-50 is a negative 120, a plus 105 type of fight. Floyd been negative 1,200, negative 35. Mason been negative 4,000, negative 6,000. Floyd fights technically been more challenging. See, there you go, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, I salute that breakdown. You know what I'm saying? Right there. I salute that breakdown, because that shit right there, it doesn't even have nothing to do with the resume when you physically scrubbing it, but it definitely has something to do with the assessment of what goes on the betting lines of the resume. So when he said, I'm not going to hold your hand and do the research, imagine trying to talk that talk in that language right there when you're not educated enough with the betting lines. Who's the favorite and who's not? Understanding that when somebody come in plus something, they're not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is wild, bro. I mean, that's wild that you put that up there. Good shit. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? I gotta put that up there for the replay game. And that's like algebra he just threw up there. For real. That you're dealing with some numbers that you really don't have to create a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not getting deep into math with it, but if somebody has the education of betting lines to validate a talking point during this live stream to say, okay, who has had the tougher opposition? Okay, this is how I can explain it to you in my line. So-and-so has came in at this, this, and this. First of all, he identified what is considered a 50-50 fight. And then he identified the numbers. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on now. Let me give y'all another fun fact. Floyd Scofield is ranked in the WBA number 2 and the IBF number 14. All right. Abdullah Mason, his opponents that has the most losses, doesn't breach 7. It doesn't extend past 7. Floyd Schofield, his opponents with the most losses is 35. If you want to talk about how many times a fighter has fought during 1 year, Abdullah Mason reaches about 5. Floyd Schofield in 2021 fought 7 times. He fought 7 times in 2021. God damn. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, he said, the note I also took down, his 13th fight. In his 13th fight, that's when he transitioned over to 10 rounders, up to the 5 10-rounders that I talked about. He also has more wins than Abdullah Mason with 87. So I went through the wins and losses. Abdullah Mason has the higher KO percentage, 86.67%. Floyd sits at 70.59%. This is a discussion that we will have to see play out, because it does take education. You have fighters that's very, very close when it comes to their professional skill set. But hey, I can tell you point blank period. At the end of the day, when you look at the experience with 217 wins when it comes to his opponents, when it comes to totaling Floyd Schofield's 17 opponents and their wins, it definitely exceeds the 130 wins of Abdullah Mason. Once again, the team Mason, that's not discrediting anything. Abdullah is a highly talented fighter. Seriously. Schofield, highly talented fighter. If it's meant for them to fight each other, cool. I want to see it. But Abdullah has 130 wins when it comes to his opponents. But when it comes to the experience, you can see the numbers elevate with that 217 wins. And then even with the losses, 145 losses within his 17 opponents to Abdullah Mason's 41. So it depends on who you're talking about, whether they look at it and assess it the same. Everybody's assessment ain't going to be the same, just like what Blunt's put out there. Not everybody's going to be able to put that assessment and have it blend in with the topic when you're trying to compare these fighters on you know, who they fought. So that you know, looking at these points, you kind of see where Pops was making some valid points during that live stream. That's all I'm saying. He was making some valid points, bro. But Bud Beats No Credit Canelo, salute to you. What's good? What's good, bro? Yeah, he said they was going at it. Yeah, they was going at it. You know what I'm saying? They was going at it. Real talk. Yeah, man. 735 means experience. Real talk. Real talk. My thing is this: Coach trying to get Pops to talk to the audience and help the audience understand. Pops trying to have a personal conversation with Coach instead of teaching the listeners. Man, true words. That's facts right there. That's facts. Real talk. See, he was like, well, I'm not gonna tell my listeners. No, he said, I'm not worried about your listeners right now. They can basically listen without my help. You know, they can listen. They have ears just like we do. I'm telling you what you said. I want you to own up to what you said. If you're not willing to own up to it, then he was saying, hey, I think you was being phony about it. That's all. He wasn't worried about no subscribers at all. He said, me and you having a conversation. If you have listeners, well, I want to help you present the right information. Tell them what you said to my son. If you saying he's the best fighter in the gym, and Pop say the gym, who says that? Don't nobody say you're the best fighter in the gym. I mean, usually you don't see fighters going in the gym to, you know what I'm saying? They train and they do no. You know, the best fighter and you know, they say, hey man, he's best fighter in the division. He won the best fighter in boxing. You know, that's what they usually say. They don't say the gym. Because some of these fighters, they train in different gyms. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the OG, Mr. Golden in the building. That's where the conversation went wrong. But that dispute about who said what in the house when they were together, that's some whole different shit. It is, bro. It is. Absolutely right on that. Mike in the building was good. You absolutely right on that, man. Blue Hustle on deck. Salute to your brother. Any back and forth that leads to education is good. But, you know, speaking about education, in order for you to become educated, you have to pretty much know how to hit that button. You know what I'm saying? You have to hit that halt button. That's all. You have to be able to hit that button, man. That digress button sometime and just listen. Because it's not all about just proving to somebody that you can continue to talk and talk when you're wrong. You feel like they may be dominating the situation. Sometimes it's better to take it while it's still light and heavy. If someone's basically landed on, they're smoking you, so to speak, and they're saying some stuff that's true. If you catch it early and you say, okay, I'll listen to what you got to say, go ahead. If they ask you a question that you don't have the answer to, just say I don't have the answer to it. Okay, well, you said the WBA. You know how the WBA did. So pretty much, I'm just telling you, if you're gonna say you know how they do it in these sanctions bodies, you know how to do it. Explain to me how they do it. And then he explained. He said, why don't you get with the WBA and ask how they do it? How do they have my son ranked? What criteria do you base that off of? If you're trying to say, you know, fighters can spend money to be ranked. And I have heard that before. I'm not gonna sit up here in front like I haven't. I've heard that shit before. I have. I heard it. Seriously, but he wasn't lying. He said, call the WBA. He said, we're there before we took, because we fought the tougher competition. That's why we up there. And then people look at it like the competition. He only has 17 fights. See, that's where you're not allowing yourself to be open to receive new angles. Maybe the angle that you're taking, you're just looking at the number of wins, but you're not looking at what wins, how the wins. The fact that he got 5 10 rounders under his belt with 17 pro fights already. He has 5 8 rounders. I mean, come on, man. In order for you to get a belt, you definitely have to fight a certain amount of rounds. And it ain't 8 rounders, brother. It's 10 rounders. Understands? Look it up. It's 10 rounders. Pop did all the damn talking and not listening. They both made some good points. Malachi, he couldn't really make points because at the back end of it, in the middle of it, I mean, he didn't get no time to talk. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get a chance to talk. Shout out to the Oracle Trick Notes here in the building. You know, that was the thing that, would have got most people frustrated, is that's your panel and you're not allowing me. So when somebody don't allow you, they already understand the platform. You know what I'm saying? They already understand, so that's why they keep on talking. At that point, you have to make a decision. That's all. You have to understand and put them in the background. Once again, you had the option to not let them on. You let them on because you thought it was going to be a healthy boxing dialogue. But I said, you know, he's very meticulous in how he carries on conversations. He'll talk and stay on top, and then he'll make you aware of shit that you say to yourself, damn, why he didn't make me aware of that early in the conversation? Damn, he was really up here talking about some shit. We was vibing. I thought we was vibing, agreeing and shit. And then he really started to goddamn let them rounds off, man. He started hitting you with blow darts. You start feeling a little woozy, like, damn, this dude, he's very strategic. Seriously, man. Shout out to Haynes Legacy in the building. How you feeling, man? Salute to you, bro. Appreciate you pulling up. I feel Floyd Sr. is a little too emotional, in my opinion. They both had some good points, though. It's not about the points that was being made. It's specifically for me. What direction were they going in? The direction went to a personal level. So at that point, we couldn't even relate to it. So when you say good points made, I'm more so focused on the conversation that we wasn't privy to, like the connection that was had, what was said internal to the house, the fact that he's bringing it up now, and he was basically making Malachi aware of it, which Malachi he didn't deny some of it, but on the other hand, he said, no, I didn't say that. You know, I didn't say that, but then, you know, Pops will come back around and say, I didn't say you said it to the world. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about, did anyone else, I asked you, did anyone else deny that my son wasn't the greatest fighter of all time? Malachi was looking at it like, why would I say he the greatest of all time? He ain't winning there with the greatest fighters. But that's not where Pops was at with it. That's not what Pops was at. Pops was like, no one told him he wasn't. I said it, but no one said he was. Did you hear anybody say he wasn't? No. Okay, then let's move on. That proves my point. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's where it was, man. Real talk. It was a good live though. Y'all make sure you go over there and check it out, man. It's a good live. Yeah, after listening to this, I went back and saw some of those guys I will looked up as cans on Floyd's resume, fought guys that are current world champions. Yeah, that's exactly what he was trying to go with it. You know what I'm saying? He said, if you think the guys that he fought wasn't anything, because when people sit up here and just lay numbers out there, when he going to be in a 50-50 fight? Well, a lot of these guys haven't been in a 50-50 fight. Seriously, a lot of these guys haven't been in a 50-50 fight, bro. That's equal or greater than you. And the only way we're going to find out if he's greater if he goes in there and beats you. But when you get a fight that's equal, you know, when it comes to resume and they resume are basically linking up, then hey, we're getting different, bro. We're getting a different vibe when we talk about 50-50. But, you know, to say that, I'll say that when he gets in there with somebody. Imagine Crawford getting in there with Errol Spence, and that's supposed to be a 50-50 fight. But he dominates him worse than a lot of fighters that wasn't supposed to be a 50-50 fight on Bud Crawford's resume. But yet the guy of all guys on the pound-for-pound list was slated to be a 50-50, but he went out quicker than some of the guys that wasn't on the pound-for-pound list. So you might have that. So the 50-50 deal it sounds good in conversation. But a lot of time it don't work out that way because styles make fights. Styles make fights. And then when it comes to what Blunt's put out there, what criteria are they looking at? If you can read into the minds of what criteria are the odds makers looking at, that would be interesting on how they create their formula to put who's the high favorite coming in. You know what I'm saying? Who's the favorite and who's not? And how do they adjust the numbers? I would like to know that formula, man. Seriously, that would be educational. Just like how he put out that consideration with, you know, Abdullah Mason, his favorite, his odds, and then he put out freaking Floyd Scofield's odds. You know what I'm saying? I think that was a good point, solid point made, man. That was a solid point right there. Now it's already going on 2:00, man. I dropped the link. I'll be on here forever and a day, man. I'll be on here forever and a day. I ain't trying to debate with nobody about anything that was on that live stream. Seriously. But hey, man, shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. I know it's Wednesday for a lot of y'all. Enjoy your freaking hump day. Be safe out there. Be sure to check out True Media Radio, True Media Boxing Radio. Go check out this live for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I just want to touch bases on the interaction and the dialogue between Malachi and freaking Pops, which is Schofield Sr., and then Schofield Jr., his son that was over there. And this is kind of pretty much a bleed over from Mill City. Be sure to check out the Mill City boxing live stream that he had with Zab Judah, and Greg Hackett, Pops, and you know the host. That was a bit more high energy than this, much more disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Go check it out, man. Real talk. Go check it out. Until next time, man, y'all hold it down. Shout out to the hottest chat in the game and continue to support the channel, man, if you please. You know, I'm